What's going on, everybody? What is going on? What is going on? How we doing? My husband, who ain't my husband, who is my husband? Okay. Jason Hester, what's up, brother? How are you? Good to see you. Hello from Massillon. All right, Massillon in the house. Let's go. Massillon in the house. How's everyone doing today? We're just kicking off a little live action, little Tuesday or Wednesday evening live action here. Steve Cross is loving my G-Wagon. Congratulations to you, Steve. Did you get a new one? What do you have? What do you have, brother? Tell me about it. Mikey Ryba, the great Mike Ryba is in the chat. The pre-owned guru, if you will. And I will. Steven looking good. What's going on, Steven? How are you? Andy, thank you for liking the live. Robert, hey Doug, how many accounts do you have? Just this one and one called just by my name, Bowtie Car Guy, but there is no, if somebody is messaging you, it's not me. It's a fake account that is trying to scam you, okay? So if you're getting direct messages from me where I'm reaching out to you, that's not me, all right? So please, everyone, there's some scammer, he's got like 55,000 followers, which is incredible. Good for him, stealing my content, but yeah, that's not me. Ryan Keller, does the end of the month or end of the quarter can deals get even better? Sometimes. I mean, a lot of dealers will play that game where they really ramp things up in the end of the month, end of the quarter. For us, that could happen if we see a need for a market adjustment on new car pricing. But, we price our cars as the month goes along, usually once, maybe twice a month. And then we're going to give you that best price all month long, unless we see some kind of major market shift. But Australia's in the house. Very nice. Very nice. What do you think about taking baking soda before a workout? Elias, I don't know anything about that. Does having a college degree help with buying a car? Will, I don't think so. No, I don't think you need any level of education, collegiately or otherwise, to buy a car. I think you just need do some research, make sure you pick a reputable dealer, and you can buy a car with confidence. When is the quarter ending? The quarter ended. June 30th was the end of the quarter. Dave, what do you think of the BMW M5 competition versus a CLA 45 AMG? Well, Dave, those are two wildly different cars. So M5 Comp, super cool car, like it a lot. That really would be more a competitor to the E63 AMG, which currently doesn't exist, not until next year anyway. So the CLA 45 is our smallest sedan, four-door coupe, whatever you want to call it, but not a competitor at all to the BMW X5, that's for sure. Jonathan, I've been following your videos the past few days. Got to say, I'm shocked the amount of negative equity people roll over. I'll stick with my 22-year-old Explorer. Wow, Jonathan, yeah, I mean, there's a the negative equity videos, unfortunately, tend to be a little bit more popular as far as the internet is concerned, but it's certainly not all that we do. What's MBUSA telling you about new car supply in the current environment? We're not really hearing anything from them on that, but supply is good still. I love how you're straight, no nonsense, put the customer in the best vehicle possible. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the best thing for us to do is make sure that the client's going to get the best car for them, because I want to do business with people multiple times. So if I put them in the wrong car, there's a really good chance that we're never going to talk to them again. 2020 GLS 580 from Adam here with 31,000 miles, super low miles for the year, but multiple issues. When is it time to bail, and will Mercedes help me get into something else, or am I stuck with this headache? And I'm really sorry to hear about that. I'm not sure what the multiple issues are, but if you're having multiple issues with it, I would bail. I wouldn't stick around with a car that was giving me problems. And Mercedes would potentially get involved if you were having the same problem over and over again, and a dealership was able to document that and plead your case. But if it's different things, then probably nothing's going to happen there. Can I get a GLS 580 for 80 grand? Maybe a used one. Any G550s coming in? None that are coming in that are not sold. However, we did just get our first batch of 2026 allocations, and I have several that are available. So if anybody wants to custom build their own 2026 G550, I can certainly help you with that. We've got plenty to choose from. Don't exactly know when they're going to come out. We don't have pricing yet for model year 2026, but hopefully it's only a modest increase over model year 2025. How are inventory levels for 2025 GLS 580s? So GLS 580s, not a ton of 580s relative to 450s. It's a low production model by comparison. I would say now is the time. We have some really nice programs that just came out for July on GLSs, including 580s. And that is probably one of the most available SUVs right now from Mercedes. So they've got really great programs on those. Some good lease programs, some good purchase programs. Happy to discuss those with you if you have any interest. And I don't think there's a reason to wait for the 2026. There's a lot of information out there where people think that the 2026 is going to be a refresh or a redesign. That's not the case. Calendar year 2026, model year 2027, we will get a facelift on the GLS, but model year 2026 is going to be a carryover model, so I would get the 25s while they've got good incentives on them. I enjoy your content and have one question. Is Bernie Moreno still involved with Mercedes-Benz North Olmsted? No, Shelley. Bernie sold the dealership in 2019, so that was about 6 years ago at this point. So George, do you ever do cost mile calculations for customers? I think that would be a helpful metric. We've done them, but George, most people that are not super analytical just don't care about that calculation. So that is just a certain type of person that wants that calculation. Happy to do it though. Jonathan, I've always wondered what are the autographs on the footballs. So Brian Brennan on the brown ball back there, and then the white one, which is out of frame or behind my head, is Archie Griffin and Jim Trussell. Cecilia, love the content. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying hi. What dealer discounts are there? We have dealer discounts on all of our cars. Anybody is welcome to go to our website, which is very simply mbzno.com, Mercedes-Benz of North Olmsted, mbzno.com, and from there you can get right into our online express store where all of our cars are priced out, right, including the dealer contribution and any incentives that might apply. But thanks for everyone who's hanging out. Let's get some likes going if we can. Likes are very helpful, and likes and thumbs up really means a lot to me, and I do appreciate it. And if you're not following already, would humbly ask for a follow. And I really do appreciate everyone being here and for all the support. It's been a really fun time getting to know all of you. The Thomas J, yo, what's going on? Michael Steffen, when you make it big, will you upgrade your office furniture? The office furniture is Mercedes-Benz. They picked that out. It's compliant for Mercedes-Benz. Jacob Alexander, good evening, sir. How are you? What dealership did I start at? I started at Classic Ford over in Mentor, Ohio, just across town here. I was there for about 3 months before I realized that I loved the business, but I had to work for Mercedes-Benz. So I got my start at Mercedes-Benz of Easton down in Columbus, Ohio. Mr. Mark Knight is in Fields Cadillac in Jacksonville. What's going on, brother? How are you? Arc Shooter, sup, brother? Still doing trades with Fort Washington? Yeah, absolutely. Dancy, I assume dealer contribution is the same as discount off of MSRP. Yeah, dealer contribution just means the discount off of MSRP that the dealership is giving you versus like an incentive or a rebate, which would be coming from the manufacturer that doesn't cost the dealership anything to give to you, if that makes sense. You sell to Long Island, New York? Absolutely, Justin. We do a lot of business in New York, a lot of business in New Jersey. We sell cars all over the country. Ton of deals in Florida, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan. Do a ton of business in Michigan, West Virginia, Kentucky. I mean, really, there's no state, California, that we don't do. We absolutely sell all over the country. It's just that's in our DNA. That's who we've always done. What we've always done. It just comes easily to us. Are you guys looking for service advisors? We're always looking for good team members, right, for all positions. So I think if you go to the link in my bio, there's a link to our job postings, and we might be looking for service advisors right now. Thoughts on, do you guys get a lot of Albanians? Well, we have an Albanian salesperson, Genti Ukshini. is Albanian. So if you are Albanian and want to work with an Albanian, Ginty's a good dude. He'll take care of you. The Jewish Mamba, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that, brother. Terry, how have the estate wagons been selling? Are you referring to the e-wagons? We actually just sold one today. Just sold one today from a social media friend who found us all the way from New Hampshire, trading in a Range Rover, so that's exciting. Thoughts on private party acquisitions? Are you talking about buying cars from private party owners? We're definitely for them. Why did MB stop selling the A-Class? No sales. I think that Mercedes just realized that the A-Class and the CLA were very similar, and there wasn't really a need to have both of those here in the States, Steve. I think that was really just, especially with Americans preferring SUVs more and more over sedans every year, it just made sense to only have one model as opposed to two. What do extended warranties run on average? That really is going to depend on the car that you're talking about. I mean, I would say anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000, depending on how long, how many miles, and what the car is specifically. Lease brand new or certified pre-owned? Hecta, that is really going to come down to your lifestyle, personal preference. I mean, if you keep cars for a long, long time, you might see a lot of value in getting a certified pre-owned car. I always prefer leasing unless it's a pre-owned car that is only available to you as a pre-owned car, right? But that's just me. That's not for everyone, of course, but you just have to have an honest conversation with the type of car buyer that you are and how long you typically keep your vehicles. And if you don't keep them for more than 2 or 3 years, then leasing is probably the best bet for you, assuming that you want to drive luxury cars, of course. Seth, what does prepaid maintenance include on a lease? So anything that's recommended at those yearly or mileage service intervals would be included, Seth. So however many prepaid maintenances you purchase, which could be 2, 3, or 4 years, whatever is recommended by the manufacturer at those intervals would be covered. So some are a little bit more basic. They might just be oil changes, tire rotations, wiper replacements, etc. Others might be more involved. It could be like a brake flush, a transmission service. It just depends on what's recommended for that service interval. Matt, thoughts on the V8 coming back to the C63s? So Matt, the V8 isn't coming back to the C63. That's going to have an inline 6 engine, probably a variation of what you find in the E53 right now. The way that car was designed, it isn't big enough in the hood to accommodate a V8. So it is going to have an inline 6. AMG, I'm sure, is going to do amazing things to it. But the V8 will be coming to the CLE 63, which we'll get next year, as well as the E63. And Mercedes-Benz is developing a totally new V8 that will be in cars for many, many years to come. So great news for V8 fans. We'll have plenty of options there. And AMG is going to go away from those 4-cylinder engines in the C63 and the GLC 63, which I think is a win for car fans and for dealers, right? Because they're great cars, and we hate to see them get passed over because of the engine, right? So, we're excited about that. Dave, what do you think of doing your own service B? I mean, Dave, I wouldn't recommend it, but again, to each their own, but servicing luxury cars, I know it might be a little bit more expensive than you're used to on other vehicles, but I think it's money well spent. And if there's an issue or anything goes wrong, you've got a dealership standing behind you to help you out, right? I think that this is an area of concern. It comes up all the time where people just want to save a couple dollars to do maintenance inexpensively, and then they wonder why they have problems with their cars down the road. So I think it's just, especially with luxury cars, just get it done with the dealership, have the protection and the peace of mind of having a dealership standing behind you and the manufacturer standing behind you, right? Davis, what car do I drive? I drive an EQS 580 SUV currently. Drew, would you rather crawl to work every day or drive a Tesla? I would drive a Tesla, and I don't want to crawl to work. That would be very inconvenient for a number of reasons. Terry, would you ever get an AMG 1? I mean, wow, if I ever had the opportunity, why not? That's maybe the most amazing car in the world right now. Is there a minimum amount of spread you look to make on a used trade? No, we don't. So the beauty is that we use AccuTrade. AccuTrade is powered by Cars.com, and because of that, AccuTrade puts the number on the car for us. It's a lot like using Carvana or CarMax, right? It's very scientific, and the car is worth what it's worth relative to the market. And then we look at the retail side of it, and we position it correctly based on the color, equipment, condition, and miles of that car. So sometimes the spread might be $500 to $1,000. Sometimes it might be $2 to $3 grand. Sometimes it might be $4 or $5 grand. It just depends on the car, depends on the market. Obviously, further up the ladder that you go in luxury and exoticness, there tends to be a bigger spread between wholesale and retail, and that's just because as the risk goes up, then the spread gets bigger. All right, just a moment. Hello. What's up? Sure. Any reason that I have to do it? Is it not working for you? Oh, he wants to see a matrix display. That's what we call that in the biz. Are you are you leasing? Are we leasing here? A finance. That's you got a lease in here. Okay. So 48, 60, 72, that's what he wants to see. 5, 24, 24 fine. No, we're not doing that. There's almost no banks that will even do that. I can show them 36. Yeah, there's no reason to ever do a 24-month finance. You'll typically have a significantly higher interest rate, even if a bank will do it. So you want to, yeah, that's fine. I'm live right now. People are like, we can hear her. It's okay. Yeah, but you don't ever want to do a 24-month finance. Banks want to think they're going to have your money longer. So if you want to pay it off that fast, by all means, go ahead, right? But just 60 months is going to generally be the sweet spot on an interest rate, right? We got to play the game that the banks want us to play. All right, 5, 10, 15, 36, 48, 60, and I see this person's in Ohio. Oh, local. Uh-oh. Well, according to Roadster, it says he lives in North Olmsted. Well, I can tell you why it does it, but you're not going to want to hear it. So can you fix that real quick? And then the price should be in there, but you got to get that fixed. All right? All right. All right, thanks. Bye. No, I appreciate that, Michelle. All good. That is Amra. Amra is one of our sales consultants. Just needed a quote worked up with a matrix display. Matrix display just means that we're going to show you multiple terms and multiple down payments all on one sheet, right? So with a full breakdown of the price, right? So MSRP, selling price, fees, taxes, all that good stuff, right? So that is the way we prefer to do it because that's the most transparent way, right? It gives you all the options on one sheet. Thoughts on MB Australia having fixed prices? Yeah, Sam, I know that they went to the agency model a few years ago in Australia. I've heard mixed reviews on how it's going. I think that the manufacturers in their minds believe that it would be easier if they just handled everything themselves, but it in reality doesn't end up being easier. Two-step, what are your thoughts on BMW's 20 to 23 models? Two-step, I am a fan of BMWs. I think they're great cars, and I love the healthy competition between Mercedes-Benz and BMW. I think that those two brands really push each other, and when you've got a direct competitor like that puts out good product, it forces you to be better. So I have no issues with BMWs of that vintage, and I think that it just comes down to personal preference, right? Which do you like best? I have an E350 2015 with 220K miles. Are you interested? We'll take a peek at it, right? We'll buy it. How many cars do you sell off TikTok? Julio the Car Guy. We probably are doing between 20 and 30 a month now from social media, if not more. I mean, what's pretty crazy is that social media has allowed us, or allowed me anyway, to show all of you how we do business, right? And that's what it's all about. We want to show you what it would be like to do business with us so that if you ever decide to go down that road, you already kind of have an idea of what it would be like. And so we get a lot of people that reach out. It's really humbling and flattering to me that people would give us the opportunity to work with them. And what drives me every day is to prove to you that buying a car can be fun, it can be easy, and you don't have to buy it from your local dealer to have a good experience. Of course, we love when our local people do business with us, but certainly not a requirement. Thank you for everyone who's hitting the like button and the thumbs up button. I really do appreciate that. That's super, super helpful. Thank you for tapping the screen. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up button. If you're not a follower already, would love and appreciate a follow. Thank you. Means a lot to me. Mark, have I ever driven a Miata? Yeah, I have. They're fun. They're small. They're fun though. Let's see. Seth, I sent my photos over to Steven today after doing the Auto Trader quote. I'm on the fence whether I'd be able to lease. I've been watching you for a couple months now and my interest has peaked. Seth, would love to chat with you about that if you ever get to that point. I know a lot of people have never considered leasing before for one reason or another, but I think it's a great option for a lot of people. So, do I like Audi? Yeah, I love Audi. Look, the German cars, I'm a fan, right? Audi, BMW, Porsche, Mercedes, they are all fantastic, fantastic vehicles. They all have a little bit of different styling. They all have a little bit of a different focus, right? Some are a little bit more luxurious, some a little bit more tech forward, some a little bit more of a driver's car, but they're all such good choices, right? I gravitate towards Mercedes-Benz for a number of reasons. I think that just the history and the heritage and the innovation and the safety and the just sheer variety that the brand offers is absolutely best in class. I think it's the best in the world. You could argue that you go to a Bentley or a Rolls Royce and that might be like a nicer car, but when you look at the full package and what you get for the money and the innovation and the heritage and the safety and just the variety and the trims and the colors and it's such a great brand. I really do love it, but that's not to take anything away from BMW or Audi or Porsche because they are great brands as well. They really are. So let's see, Osborne got a G63 last month and it gets more compliments than my F8 Spider. Definitely worth the markup. There you go, Osborne. Yeah, that's everybody that has ever gotten a G63 that I've had the pleasure of talking to says that everywhere they go, it's just people breaking their necks to look at it and to talk about it. There's just something about G-Wagons, especially the 63s. It's really hard to put it into words. But Katie, what's the best deal on a car in your inventory that you were shocked someone hasn't snatched up? Well, I'd have to take a look. I mean, we have some really tremendous deals on some GLB demos and some GLA demos. Now that we've brought Roadster back into the fold, where my sales team has all of the pricing right at their fingertips, and all of you as consumers do as well, there's a lot less manual desking of deals. Whereas when I started making content, we were in between pieces of technology, so I did have to desk every deal by hand, which meant that it was a lot easier for me to identify those cars that were like the super crazy good deal, because I had to look at it multiple times a day in most cases. But yeah, the GLBs and GLAs are really tremendous right now. Corey, what's comparable to an XC90 that gets good range? So Corey, the comparable car to the XC90 is the GLE 350. Our GLE is a direct competitor to the XC90, very similar in size. It's available with a third row, just like an XC90, but it doesn't come standard with a third row. But big gas tank, plenty of range. There's also the GLE 450 plug-in hybrid, which is a really great option for people to consider because you can drive it as a fully gas car if you want. But if you do plug it in, you can get up to 60 miles of all-electric range, which I have a couple of clients that are local that fill up like less than once a month because most of their around-town driving is all-electric, and then when they're going to do a longer drive, they are able to tap into the gas engine. Does Jared ever visit? No. I've not seen Jared since he left. I have spoken with him a few times. He seems to be doing well. Does your dealership sell many diesels? Aaron, unfortunately, no. Ever since Volkswagen's Dieselgate, diesels are just not offered as new cars anymore from the European brands. So we do not have any diesels new that we could even sell. They do come in on trade sparingly, but they're typically very old with super high miles and not exactly what we look to retail. Mark, would you rather spend a week in jail or drive a 1980s GM car the rest of your life? I mean, Mark, what are these what ifs that you got coming here, man? These are crazy. I don't know if I have an answer for that one. What's comparable SUV to the X3? I've been thinking about switching. Jeffrey, the comparable SUV to the X3 would be a GLC 300. That is, the GLC is the direct competitor to the X3. Michael, did I get some sun? Probably, but this might also be the TikTok filter that you're seeing there. Are there any deals on C63 sedans? Thanks for your content as always. Love your page. Yeah, Dr. Goat, we definitely are aggressive on those. I need a new E63 AMG wagon back with the V8 or V12. So, the new E63 we expect sometime next year. Not confident that we would get the E63 wagon at the same time, but maybe we do. Who knows? It might not be until another year after that. A certain local famous musician traded in his wife's Ferrari for an AMG GT for her. Very nice. There you go. Any GLE coupe deals right now? Cash money, absolutely. Look, we have deals on everything, right? There's the only thing that I can't get you is a G63 or a G550. I don't have those laying around. Everything else, we are a volume dealer, and volume dealer means we move fast. We sell a lot of cars, and to do that, you have to make it easy, and people have to get great deals. You can't sell a lot of cars if you're not giving people good deals, and that means that everything is going to get a contribution from us. So even the cars that are really, really hard to get, like CLE 53s, GLE coupes, we still make everybody really great deals on those because we believe that they are here to be sold to you, for you to enjoy, not for us to collect them. So, got the AMG suspension package. AMG suspension package, are you talking about on the new G63? That is the new performance suspension package, which is phenomenal. Our Anthony, no, we do not negotiate on price. Our best price we give to you right up front. That works for probably 95% of buyers. If it doesn't work for you, I totally get it. But we are all about speed and efficiency, which means that we're going to give you the best price. The only thing that could be movable on is if you qualify for an incentive that we hadn't uncovered yet. Maybe you're a business owner, maybe you've got AAA, maybe you're a Sam's Club member, right? Those are things that could affect the price, but that would be money coming from Mercedes-Benz, not from us. Everything about selling cars in a better market like Florida or Los Angeles, you could really bank. Mark, I think that, I love Cleveland, Ohio, and the beauty of the internet and social media and just, it being 2025 is that I can sell all over the country. I don't have to be in those places. So that's why we do as much out-of-state business as we do. Corey, what's the price range for the GLE 450 EV hybrid? Only needs space for 5, so 5 seats is fine. So those are going to be on the very low end, 75, on the high end, 90. Most of them are in kind of the 80 to 84 range. Yes, Sam's Club has a partnership with Mercedes-Benz for special prices for Sam's Club members. Is the Sam's Club incentive worth it if you're not current Sam's Club member? You would need to be a Sam's Club member for 6 months before you'd be eligible for those discounts. So you can't join today and then get the incentive tomorrow. Casa, those CLE 53s are calling my name, but I just got myself a 25 GLE Coupe. Congratulations to you on the new GLE Coupe. Very nice. Jamer is buying an M5 Comp tomorrow. Congratulations. We have a very nice pre-owned one in stock with like 250 miles on it, 25, for anybody that likes BMW M5s. Mitch, why are G-Wagons so much? Because people keep buying them, right? There's really no other reason. Corey, will you take, what was that? I'm sorry. Will you take my trade from New York or can it be shipped to you? Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. So Corey, if you don't want to make the drive to Ohio, no problem. We arrange shipping of your new car to you and we bring your trade back to us. We do this all day, every day, so it's a very, very easy process. Is it something I said no answers for me? No. Trust, I'm sorry. I'm looking at 3 different screens and 3 different chats. There's a lot of questions that are coming in, so I don't, I apologize if I missed your questions. It's hard for me to keep up with all of them. Alex, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you for everyone who's hitting that like button and the thumbs up button. Appreciate it very much. Kyle, does Mercedes lease CPO vehicles? No. There is one exception to that, is that we can lease you a demo, one of our loaner cars. We can certify that and lease it to you. So that is a great cheat code for people that need that unlimited mileage warranty. But we can't lease like 2 or 3 or 4-year-old CPO cars. Theo Lewis, how aggressive are you on the G580 lease? We're very aggressive. Why is the depreciation rate insane on an EQS? That's just what's going on with EVs in general. EVs, just people are still very apprehensive about them, It's become quite a political thing, really, and so EVs just don't hold their value super well. Is the AMG GLE 53 worth buying? Well, the GLE is my favorite class overall that we have because there's so much variety and so many different models, and I think it's our best looking SUV. Love the GLE 53, both the coupe and the regular. They're both absolutely phenomenal. I personally like the regular a little bit better, just because I like having a little bit of extra space in the trunk. I think that generally consumers tend to prefer the GLE coupe, which would be comparable to like an X6 or an Audi Q8 if you're more familiar with those models. But the GLE 53s are tremendous, tremendous cars. So, Jason, who can actually get the special lease pricing listed on MBUSA website? What's the trick? There's no trick. Those are just very specific situations. Just like every manufacturer, they're going to pick a car that has lower end equipment, which is no problem. We can find those cars. And it's going to be a 10,000 mile per year lease with a lot of money due at signing, and they don't include taxes and fees because they don't know where you live, right? So you can't have a national ad including taxes and fees without knowing where that person lives. So it's not that you can't get it, it's just that most consumers don't want to replicate the lease the way it's constructed on the website. They usually want a car with more options, and then obviously got to put your taxes and fees in the lease ultimately, and most people don't want to put that much money down at signing. So that's why it seems like those leases are unattainable. But I will tell you, there is not a single national ad on MBUSA that we don't give you a better deal on already. It's just a matter of how much money are you going to put down at signing, right? So if you read the fine print in those leases, it will have a suggested dealer contribution, which is the amount of money that Mercedes-Benz USA is recommending the dealer discounts the car. And I've never seen a circumstance where we weren't discounting it more than the recommended contribution. So, when is the best time to buy a car? Is winter really the best time? There is no best time to buy a car. I don't like that question. No disrespect to you. It's a very popular one. The best time to buy a car is when you're ready for a car, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I think that people get too hung up on the concept of when the best time is. And for one reason or another, maybe they think that they're going to get a better discount or a better deal or whatever. But you have to understand that there's a lot of parameters that go into buying a car, and all of those things move and change as your timeline changes, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say you were looking at a car today, it was 2025, and you could get a $5,000 discount on that car. You might say, I want to wait until the 2026s are out and I get another $2,000 or $3,000 off that 2025. Okay, well, in the meantime, while you're waiting, the car you own now is continuing to depreciate. So you're basically treading water there. And if you do end up getting that couple $1,000s additional off a few months from now, well, now that car that you're buying is that much less valuable because now it's just older and it's a model year older. So it too, even though it's still new, has kind of depreciated as well. So I think that a lot of times people are waiting for a scenario that makes them feel better and makes sense, but really, the logistics of the money don't work out to be better in your favor. Now, the only time that wouldn't be true is if somehow some kind of crazy lease program comes out on a car that doesn't exist today but exists later down the road. But again, there's just no way of predicting that, right? Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. So, Zach, is a low miles 2021, 2022 AMG GT53 or GT63 4-door a solid buy as CPO? Yeah, I think that is a great year to target because you'll have really realized a lot of the initial depreciation, and you're going to buy it at a flatter part of the depreciation curve. What's up?
Oh.
Joe W. Auto. Where is this? Just going live. Where is this? This is Mercedes-Benz in North Olmsted in Cleveland, Ohio. Some of you might recognize that guy.
Where is this?
He does all the cool cars. Talks about them.
How's the live stream going?
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going. We're answering questions like we always do. Is the best time to buy in November, December before tax refund season? No, I wouldn't say. Again, the best time to buy is when you're ready for a car, right? I really do believe that because, again, if you wait, then whatever car you own now is going to continue to depreciate. Wendy, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for the Dolphins.
Shout out the Dolphins.
So, shout out Wendy with the Dolphins. Always nice when Wendy shows up. Very, very generous. I appreciate you. Bill, I tried yesterday, but you kept missing me based on current incentives and your inventory. What's the best Benz hybrid if I currently have a Tesla Y and I love the self-driving? Well, if you love a hybrid, the GLE 450 plug-in hybrid is probably going to be your best bet. Okay, but I will tell you that our driver assistance is going to be most advanced in our EVs. So, what you could get in the EQS SUV, for example, is going to be very advanced compared to what you would get even in the GLE 450. Just bought my daughter a G550. She's in heaven. I would imagine that is awesome. Congratulations to her, and very kind of you to do that for her. I'm sure she's absolutely thrilled. Calvin, I need an S580 ASAP. We have a one plug-in hybrid left, but we are sold out of S5. And we might have one S580, but we have sold out of those. Would you guys take in a 25 G550 trade for a 26 G63? Unfortunately, I did not buy it from you guys. So, eventually that might be a possibility. But again, our first priority goes to current clients of the store, and then to move up that list, current clients of the store that are trading us a G-Wagon. So you have the G-Wagon part of it down, but as you're not a current client, we still have a lot of current clients that are waiting patiently for a 2026 now G63. Corey, I've never heard of prepaying mileage. Can you explain that a bit? That just means that if you're a high mileage driver and you need more than 15,000 miles a year or more than 20,000 miles a year, that you can customize your lease with additional miles built in, and what you're technically doing is you're prepaying them. Okay, so in the case of a 15,000 mile lease, we can prepay 4,999 miles a year up to a 19,999 mile per year lease. And so what you're doing is you're taking a 15,000 mile lease and you're customizing it, okay? And those prepaid miles, if you do not use them, are refundable. They come back to you. It's great. Now, if you really drive a lot of miles, then we have to take our highest published residual, which is a 20,000 mile per year lease, and then you can prepay miles above and beyond that number. And it's the same thing that works, except that number is not, you don't have a stopping point. You just can't lower the residual on the lease below the the cap cost. So that's a fancy way of saying that at a certain point you won't be able to add more miles, but generally 50 to 55,000 miles on most cars you'll be able to do. Yes, it's a full refund for the prepaid miles. Now, you won't get a refund on miles that you were unused below the published residual. So if you do 15,000 mile per year lease, for example, and let's say you did 18,000 miles total, so you prepaid for 3,000 additional miles a year, those 3,000 additional miles per year would be refundable if they weren't used. But if you only ended up driving 10,000 miles a year, then the 5,000 miles below 15 that you contracted for wouldn't be refundable. However, when you drive a lot less miles than you contract for, you have a much better chance of having equity in your lease, because remember, the higher miles, the more miles you do per year, the lower your residual, which means the lower the buyout number at the end of the lease. So when you drive very, very low miles, you're giving yourself an opportunity to have equity in that lease. So, do you consider the EQS as a true S-Class? Yes, I do. I do. It's as nice, if not nicer, than the S-Class. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, and I get that they might not like the styling, but if you've ever driven one, if you just have an open mind for a moment and you just take one for a drive, you cannot tell me that it's not as nice, if not nicer. And the reason I say that is that they are as heavy as an S-Class is, and EQS is even heavier. And you've got such a low center of gravity from that battery, and the suspension is so plush, it drives like a dream. It really does. Red Dirt, what's going on, brother? How are you? Nice, congratulations. Chasing that tone, just got an EQS. Congratulations. Coffer Connie, love the bow ties, very smart. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. You want a 2024 BMW X6 M60i? Yes, I do. 1,100 miles, absolutely. Link in my bio. Let's do it. I want it. I want it. But thank you for everyone who's hanging out. Thank you for everyone who's hitting the like button. I really appreciate that. That helps me out a ton. Thank you for smashing that like button and the thumbs up button. And if you're a new follower today, thank you. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me, and looking forward to getting on and doing lives and getting to know you and answer all your questions. And I'm sorry that sometimes there's too many coming at me at once for me to be able to get to all of them. But I do enjoy coming on here and answering these questions for you, and I hope that you enjoy the lives. I really do. Do I want a 2020 CLS 53? Of course, absolutely we do. When is the CLE 63 coming out, Mario? We expect that next year, hopefully this time next year. 2018 Kia Stinger GT2, what is the trade-in value? You can go right to the link in my bio. You'll see, get a trade value from us. You put the information in, and we will be in touch to finalize that number with you. It's very, very simple to do. Given your pricing approach to deals, how does the corporate set pricing model differ, and why doesn't it work as well? Well, the corporate set pricing model is being set, corporately, and it would be nationwide, right, for any countries that are doing that. And you're at the mercy of when they want to go in and adjust it. And I don't know how often they do that. I can tell you, for me, we are looking at the market all the time, right? So we generally don't have multiple price adjustments in a month, but if we're noticing that the market has shifted on a particular model, then we can go in and we can make an adjustment. And sometimes that's up, sometimes that's down, right? If all of our cars are selling out, right, and we're running low on a model and people are just snatching them up, then we realize, okay, the market is probably higher than where these cars are selling. Sometimes it goes the other way, but we can make those adjustments as we see them necessary. All right. So anyway, yeah, it's and plus we're an independent dealership, right? So our pricing, the market pricing that we're looking at is going to potentially be different than what other dealers determine their market pricing to be, right? So if your local dealer or dealer that you're talking to thinks that everything should be sold at MSRP or barely discount anything, that might not be what we believe, right? And in fact, it's not what we believe. So there's more flexibility in this approach. R. Anthony, this is a great question to end on. Can you explain how you use a lease to help someone with negative equity? The way that we do that is that there are two things you have to consider when you've got negative equity, which is how can I quickly get out of this scenario in the most enjoyable, least frustrating way. And what leases allow you to do is shorten your term, shorten your exit strategy. So most people that end up in negative equity situations take out loans for 5, 6, 7 years, and then they want to get out of that vehicle way too quickly, which means that they've paid it down not nearly as much as they've depreciated it. Well, leasing will give you similar payments, but on half the timeline, right? A 3-year lease payment is almost always identical to like a 6-year finance. So you accomplish a similar payment, but half the time. And 2, the big thing is loan to value, right? Approvability. How is a bank going to look at this? And with used cars, banks look at the value of the wholesale market for used cars to determine what amount of money they want to lend you, right? Because they don't want to lend you significantly more money than the asset is worth that you're buying. The good news with new cars is that they can be heavily incentivized. They can have big discounts on them, but banks almost always go off the invoice price of that new car, and invoice prices aren't that far below MSRPs. So if a car has a lot of discounts available to it, then the amount of money that you're asking for is low relative to the value of the car. So when you add back in your negative equity, it's favorable to the bank. So hopefully that helps. So anyway, I'm going to hop off, got to get my day wrapped up, but I appreciate everyone hanging out. Hopefully you